Our drinking started out as fun. Then it slowly became part fun and part problem. Then the problem part started to be way bigger than the fun part. And so we devoted all our energy to trying to get back to when it was just fun, not knowing that alcohol doesn't work this way. Once it's a problem at all, it will stay a problem until you just accept that you're better off without it. Welcome to the Shannon McCabe Show, where we break free from our drink-obsessed culture, challenge the myths around alcohol, and redefine sobriety as the empowering choice it truly is. I'm Shannon McCabe, sober coach, holistic nutritionist, and your guide to a life that feels better without booze. Whether you're newly sober, sober curious, or years into this journey, this podcast is here to give you the truth about alcohol, the tools to build lasting confidence, and the hope that a vibrant, fulfilling life is waiting for you on the other side. So grab your coffee or sparkling water and let's dive in. Welcome in to today's chat, you guys. This episode is about accepting truth, not because it's easy, but because it's what sets us free. So today's topic occurred to me as I was having a couple different conversations with clients. We're chatting about the grief stage of quitting drinking, because grief is really real when we finally admit that alcohol is a problem for us and we begin the work to quit drinking for now, for good, whatever you want to call it. We grieve what was once mostly a fun part of our life. It's hard to let go of what drinking used to be. It's hard to let go of the fun. The idea of maybe never having that kind of fun again is really scary and it's a loss. And so, yes, grief is a normal part of this process. And this is why in my world, I emphasize this very real conflict that we feel in our emotions of being okay and acknowledging that this grief is real, but still knowing that we're doing the right thing by letting go of alcohol. Honestly, you guys, it's like a bad boyfriend or a toxic breakup. Like, think back to whenever that was a reality in your life, right? Like high school, college, even still in adulthood, it doesn't matter. But we all most likely have those memories of that one person or that one relationship where like we knew it just wasn't good for us and we knew it needed to end and it was time to let go. But it still kind of made us sad. There were still some good memories and we missed that person. But then we'd like have the circular conversation with ourselves and know that it was absolutely the right thing to do to break up and to end it and to let it go. But it doesn't mean that you don't miss it sometimes. And it doesn't mean that you don't have some fond memories. This 100% happens to most of us when we quit drinking, okay? Naming that and talking about it and processing it is a big part of the process and it's really productive. So that is the conversation I was having with a couple different clients and a couple different coaching groups. And so here's where it comes back to the conversation that I want to have today. Society does a really good job of only focusing on the fun parts of drinking and only focusing on like the good. Only shows the fun. It only celebrates the fun. It makes it seem like that's all there is to drinking. And so we keep these problem parts of alcohol tucked away and out of sight. And we whisper about them, about ourselves and about other people. You guys, this is like, what a bunch of BS. So many people struggle with drinking. And yet society just, for the most part, wants to assign shame to that. And if you want to quit, if you actually do try to talk about this or bring this up and want to quit, most of the time that's not received well either. We will applaud people that try to quit smoking. We talk about how good it is for them to acknowledge the plague that is smoking. But if somebody says that they want to quit drinking or that they are taking a break, people instantly get defensive or uncomfortable. It's so messed up and it does so many people a huge disservice. Okay, that's a conversation for another day, but it does tie into this, I promise. Because today I want to talk about like the very real reality, the very real process of how our fun drinking days and our fun drinking life turn into problem drinking. And how we need to make our peace with the fact that once we've crossed this line, once we've crossed the line from our drinking being more problem than it is fun, we cannot go back to when our drinking was fun most of the time. We just can't. And you probably are like, but why not? Why? Like, that's all you want to do, maybe. So many of us stay in that spot of like, that's all we want to do. We are just trying to figure out the magic solution to get back to when drinking was just fun. Fun and hardly any consequences. You guys, it doesn't work though. Why? Well, brain chemistry, for one, age, for another. The more we drink, the longer we drink, the older we get, the more harmful alcohol becomes for our mind and our body. Once it's a problem, it does not and cannot unproblem itself. I've talked about this in earlier episodes when I chatted about like the myth of moderation, how alcohol affects our hormones, how it makes us crave it, how it makes it harder for us to feel joy from anything else, how we can get into like the brain fog, just the blah, the lack of energy, all of this. So if you guys haven't listened to those episodes, I encourage you to go back because I'm not going to rehash all of that here. But it's important to understand that there are so many very real reasons why, once we cross this line from drinking being fun most of the time into drinking causing us problems, we cannot go backwards. We can't just like take a break for long enough. We can't just do a cleanse and go backwards in time to when drinking gets to be all fun and no consequences. No matter how much you wish you could just go back to when drinking was mostly fun and not causing you problems, whatever those problems are, big or small. It could be like hot flashes and weight gain and poor sleep or anxiety, or it could be bigger problems. Like maybe you fully know and have admitted that you are addicted. Maybe it's caused bigger problems like DUIs or affected your job or your relationships, whatever. All problems are valid. They don't have to be big, huge, typical rock bottom problems. When we arrive at this point where drinking is causing problems, the only sensible thing to do is to quit drinking. And most people know this. We just don't want to accept that that's the solution. We don't want to accept that that is what needs to happen. And you guys, I get it. It makes sense. I was stuck in that place for years, like for literal years. I lived in that like round robin circular place. So many of us have lives that in big and small ways revolve around drinking. Whether it's like happy hours with your coworkers, right? Girls' night with other stressed out, touched out moms, date nights with your partner, you know, the partner that we increasingly like see and talk to less and less because life is crazy and jobs get crazy and kids get crazy. And so date nights become a huge escape. And then we've got vacations, we've got concerts, we've got weddings, the backyard barbecues, the neighborhood block party, weekends, camping, the cabin, pool parties, traveling, airports, like all of it, right? You can keep adding to that list. I can keep adding to that list. For so many of us, it then just becomes like any Monday, right? And then Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Sunday because Sunday fun day. Did you have a hard day? Drink. Did you have a good day? Drink. We're celebrating. We've got a drink. We're mourning. We've got a drink. So of course it's hard to think about quitting. Alcohol is absolutely fucking everywhere, you guys. It's everywhere. I get this. I feel this. You guys, I'm born and raised in Wisconsin. Drinking, unfortunately, is like a rite of passage here. And it's really hard to untangle the ways that alcohol is in every single area of life. But, and this is a really important but, you guys, and this is one that triggers a lot of people, but this does not mean that it's good for us. And it does not mean that it's innocent. Just because something is common does not mean that it's normal. And it also doesn't mean that you have to take part in it anymore, even if you always have. even if you always willingly have. We can change anytime. We can grow, we can evolve, even if it feels hard, even if it's scary, even if we're not sure exactly what it's going to look like down the road. We don't have to keep doing something just because it's what we've always done. So if you're at the point where your drinking is causing you problems, again, no matter how big or small those are, because if they're problems for us, if they're disrupting our quality of life, then it's a problem. It's okay to explore the idea of removing alcohol and of quitting drinking, even if that feels hard to do, especially if it feels hard to do. When it feels that hard to do, it doesn't mean that it's not worth doing it. It just means that this is a new thing, you guys. It just means that it's a new idea. It's a new way of being, and it's gonna take some time to get used to. That's why it feels hard, and that's why it feels scary. Not because it doesn't need to be done, and not because you're not capable. It just feels hard because it's new. But you guys, isn't that part of life? Like, seriously, new jobs feel hard at first, right? Would you quit on the first day because it feels hard? Because you feel awkward? Because you feel like you don't know what to do and you're not good at it yet? Or would you quit like even after the first week or the first month? No, like that's crazy. You would keep showing up and you'd keep trying. You'd keep learning. You'd keep asking other people to teach you what you need to know. You'd keep letting other people who are already doing this job and are already good at it teach you how to do the things to be better at it, right? This is the same thing. The thought of removing alcohol is the same thing. Society loves to downplay the problems caused by drinking. And society loves to make us believe that life is basically going to suck if you quit drinking. But if that was true, if life completely sucked without alcohol, would there really be so many of us saying the exact opposite? Would there really be so many of us, people like me, people that used to love to drink, would we be here swearing that we feel better than ever? And that yes, we still have fun. We are fun. We relax, blah, 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 all the things. Would we really be shouting from the rooftops about sober life being so fucking amazing and awesome if we spent every day just wishing we could drink again? No, you guys, seriously, think about that. It's just, no. If we were spending every day angry and sad and resentful and wishing we could drink, would we be talking about how great sobriety is? I'm not joking, you guys, when I say that you could not pay me to drink again. I actually was just having this conversation too, in a coaching group because today, and I didn't realize this when I was planning to record this episode, but it popped up on my app in the morning because I check one of my sober apps as part of my morning like devotional and prayer time. And it's also a day counter and told me that today is 950 days since my last drink, which is insane to me. It's just insane, you guys, because I so clearly remember, like I remember it like it was yesterday, but it does also now feel like a lifetime ago when it was impossible for me to go a day without a drink. Like at the end there, especially, if I went a day without drinking, it was probably only because I was still so hungover that I was like, yeah, I can take a night off. And now here I am, 950 days. So anyways, I was talking about this over on Instagram and in my coaching groups. And I was saying like, you guys, I'm not joking when I say like, you could not pay me to drink again. You couldn't because I just know too much now. I've seen too much. I've learned too much. I have 100% like, we're like Wizard of Oz land. I've peeked behind the curtain. I've seen that wizard is a bunch of bullshit. It's smoke and mirrors. It's all a big scam. It's all a big lie. And you guys, I was the ultimate wine mom, right? The ultimate party girl. I was absolutely the woman who at one time said and firmly believed things like, quote unquote, I don't trust people that don't drink. And I also said, I would rather give up bread than wine. Like I tried to blame or change anything and everything in my life rather than admit that alcohol was causing me problems. These things like are included, but we're not limited to my husband, my kids, my job, other family members, hormones, aging, winter, gluten, dairy, even like the economy, the president, whatever, you name it. And I blamed it, was willing to blame it, was willing to sacrifice it just to keep alcohol in my life. Because I believed everything society told me that alcohol was necessary to relax, to have fun, to be sexy, to connect, to make memories, to just do life, basically. Until I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't ignore all of the information, all of the things that I was seeing and learning and hearing everywhere. And I couldn't ignore all of the ways that my drinking was messing with my life. I wanted it to be all fun and games again, but mostly it was just exhausting, honestly. Because even when it was fun, the inevitable hangover, anxiety, shame, guilt, regret, like repeat cycle that went on and on and on for years, you guys, that far outweighed any fun that I still managed to have drinking at that point. And so, yeah, I had to admit that none at all was what I needed to do. It absolutely also turned out to be one of the best things I've ever done for myself, aside from marrying my husband and having my 3 daughters. Now, was it amazing right away? No. Were there hard parts? Of course. But you guys, this is the thing too. Life is hard sometimes. Life is really fucking hard sometimes. We need to stop acting like it's not supposed to be. And we need to stop acting like drinking doesn't also lead to some really fucking hard times. If we're willing to put up with a whole bunch of crap because of drinking, why wouldn't we put up with some temporary crap knowing that it's going to lead us to feeling even better eventually when we quit drinking? That's like literally one of the things I wrote like in my journal and really took to heart and put into practice every single day when I finally decided to quit drinking. I said, quitting drinking can't possibly make me feel any worse than my drinking already does. So what have I got to lose? Quitting drinking couldn't be harder than my hard drinking times were. And you know what? I was 100% right. It was absolutely true. Because that's the deal, you guys. This is the truth. This is how it goes. Quitting drinking feels hard temporarily, but when you stick with it and when you do the work to actually heal your shit, because yes, we have all got shit, especially if you are clinging to alcohol, especially if it is hard for you to think about life without alcohol, it's because you are using it to self-medicate and to cope with stuff that sooner or later you're going to have to face and heal. So when we quit drinking and then we do the work to heal that shit, if you really give that whole process time and energy, if you take all of the time and energy that you've given to drinking and you put that time and energy into healing yourself instead, you are absolutely going to feel better than you can probably even imagine is possible. It is the experience I had. It is the experience I see over and over and over again, every day. In the women I work with, in the people that I come across in the sober world, over and over again. You've just got to believe that it's possible. And you've got to commit to sticking it out until you get to the good part. And you guys ask yourself, like, what's the alternative if you don't? You know how your drinking goes. It's never going to get any better than it is right now. It can only keep going downhill from here. Or you can get off the roller coaster and put all of that energy into making your life feel so fucking good that you don't want or need to drink. That's what I did, you guys. It's possible. I see people do it every day. People just like me. who loved to drink, who drank forever, who had all the t-shirts and the tank tops and the cups and the dish towels and the memes. People who didn't want to admit that their drinking had gotten the better of them, but it did. So we quit. We did the work to heal our shit, and guess what? Now we feel better than ever. You're welcome to join us at any time. If I can do it, you can do it too. This is available to anyone. I'm not special. I'm not a unicorn. I just got really sick of my own stories. I got really sick of my excuses, and I decided to change. You can do it too. All right. Thanks for hanging with me here today, you guys. I would love to know how this landed for you. If it triggered you a little bit, if parts of it resonate, remember that you can always shoot me a message over on Instagram, send me a DM, let me know how this hit for you. And if you're ready to change, even if you're not ready, but you're curious, you know where to find me. I'd love to help you. That's it for today's episode. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if you're loving the show, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a quick review. It helps others find this message and start their own journey to freedom. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep believing in what's possible, and remember, you are so much stronger than you think.